welcome to Stay Paid. Today we are answering your burning questions in real estate, business, marketing, and more. On these episodes, we take live calls from listeners of Stay Paid. If you want to have your question answered live here on the show, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Stay Paid Podcast. You can submit your questions there or go to remindermedia.com/ask. My name is Josh Dyke, Chief Marketing Officer at Reminder Media, joined by Luke Acree, President of Reminder Media, and from the Acree Brothers Realty team, Cody Smith. Our first caller, Phyllis, from sunny Florida. She said, Phyllis, welcome to Stay Paid.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
We are doing fantastic, Phyllis. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I do have a question. It's 1.35 million is the price. I always suggested that the price of the property is 22 acres. It's an estate home in the country. And I always suggested that the range would be 1.3. Of course, the sellers always want the most they can get. The buyers always want to get the best deal. He was adamant that he wanted it like 1.95. So we dropped it. And now he's like, yes, it's all my fault. Well, he kind of missed his window because in Florida, it's pretty stagnant. And that's a special niche. It's over $1 million. So it's a unique person that's going to want to buy 25 acres. So my question is, and it was gorgeous estate home. But now fast forward, it's 30 years old. It's a little dated, even though everything is gorgeous inside. It's got parquet wood floors, and such. It's an A-frame, different things. I'm just wondering, what can you do when you have a seller that is adamant that they want to be in the driver's seat and that they demand that you list it at a certain price and then you drop it so many times?
Yeah, it's a great question. So tell me a little bit about your business so far this year. Like, how many deals have you done? Like, give me a feel for how long you've been in the business, how many deals you've done, so we know kind of where you're at.
I've done this for about 25 years now. I have a mortgage broker's license as well. I did that for a while. And then during COVID, I was bored. So I decided to get my broker's license, which was painful, but I did it. And I lean on residential mainly because that's a staple. You get paid in 30 days or so. But I also sell commercial, and I also sell in Florida. There's nothing but land. And so all the developers want land. So my father dealt with that, and he passed away, and I wound up dealing with a lot of developers with large parcels.
Okay. So that makes sense. That's very helpful. So obviously we had a call in not too long ago on our call in show, which was the same type of question where somebody, did not, I forget what the listing price was. It wasn't the millions, but it was, maybe 300,000-400,000, something like that. And it wasn't worth that. And, Steven, who's not here, he gave a great answer. And Cody, you can fill in where I lack, but it's essentially, look, you don't control the market, you control the marketing. The question I would throw to you, Phyllis, is, do houses usually sell for more the longer they sit on the market, or sell for less the longer they sit on the market?
Absolutely not. And I've told people, in the past, I'm like, you can price your house at $500,000, but if your neighborhood is selling at 3 all day, every day, you're going to sell at 3. So I did get, regretful apologies nonstop. Oh my gosh, yep. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. And I finally told him, I said, you have got to stop dropping the price and put it where it belongs. And now we're staying there, but he missed his window. Our market in Florida is kind of stagnant. It's starting to pick up, but because he's over 1 million, you just have a much smaller client base. So my question is, how do I get some movement on this thing?
Yeah. It's such a great question. So the only thing, so you're doing the right thing by telling him the truth, because honestly, you're going to help him sell for the most money if you actually price it right. And that's ultimately your goal. And I think Steven dropped a great line for a caller that had this same question, where he basically said, you're not actually trying to sell them down to I forget where you're at now. I know you had it at 2 million. Where is it at now? Like 1.3 or something like that?
It's 1.35, and honestly, the 1.3 is his number, and that's the number that I recommended.
Right. So you're not selling him down to 1.3. You're actually selling him up to 1.3, because 1.3 is actually what it's worth. And the longer he stays at 2, and Steven gave this great example of like, hey, if I set it in the market for 4 million, would you call me crazy? Because I want to make you the most money you can make. So why not set it at 4 million? And you would say, of course I'm crazy. And the reality is exactly, you're crazy at setting it at 2 because you're actually going to get less money. And so you've gotten him to admit that. He's now apologized. Now what do you do to actually relaunch, right? And so there's, ways that you can market the property through social media, through postcard campaigns, through outreach to other brokers, through email campaigns. You really need to do a relaunch of this listing is what my advice would be. I don't know, Cody, if you would suggest almost taking it off market and putting it back on, what your suggestion would be there. But my suggestion from a marketing perspective is you have to plan a relaunch. And in that relaunch, right, you've got to come to market with basically like it's a brand new property because now it's actually priced right. And you got to do the normal things that you can control, which is social media posting, letting all the other agents in the community know, going to your database to, let your database know of the property, and then door knocking the neighborhood to find out if they know anybody that would actually want to live in this area, doing a mega open house, like these structures. But it's really, if I'm summarizing, is going, okay, what's your relaunch marketing campaign? That's where I would start. I'll throw it over to you, Cody, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, 100%. And are you on a team, individual?
I'm an individual, but I have a follow-up question, and I'm a really super honest person. Here's the thing. So now put yourself in the realtor situation of, okay, if we do, and I totally agree with you. I've had the same mindset that yes, we pull it off the market. In Florida, you have to leave it off the market for 30 days to get it to be a new listing, or you change firms, then you can do it the same way. But my issue is, as the realtor, how you know you're not going to lose them? Because they'll turn around and say, hey, it wasn't that great with Phyllis because I was on the market 6 months, but I'm not going to own the fact that I did that to myself, And so, I mean, do I keep it going and try to revive it and give it CPR? Or do I take that risk of losing that $1.3 million listing now that he's actually at the good pricing? Unless some other agent
such a great question.
How long have you been on the market since you're at the right price?
We're finally at the right price. Yeah. But we've been on the market for 136 days. He's had 374 views on Zillow, and he's had 28 saves.
Okay, and then,
but how long since the right price?
Yeah.
How long since?
Right,
maybe 30, 45 days.
Okay. And
I don't want him to drop it anymore.
And I assume the activity is low.
Yeah. I did have an open house after we dropped it. I had a couple open houses, which for that price range, you usually don't. But I did get really good feedback out in the country like that. I got about 6 people one day, and I got about maybe 4 or 5 the next time. But then the third time, there was nothing. So I went back to my marketing.
Yeah. So, because my thought in it is, because that's a really good fear, right? We're always fearful of losing the listings, but it sounds to me that you're probably going to lose it anyways, right? If it doesn't sell. So I don't think there's a hurt in taking it off. And then it's all the way you market it too, like an upgrade where, hey, now that we're at the right price, let's do like an upgrade listing. And this is what we're going to do for it. And some type of like a special way how you're going to relaunch his listing to get him excited about the reason why we're doing it. So you just got him to get the belief in, hey, we're priced at the right price now, but we need to act like it's a new listing now that we have the new price. And this is what we're going to do it, is how I would approach it.
And you should have a high degree of trust from him now because he was wrong and you were right. Now, I don't know is that what you're sensing from him? Does he actually see that, or do you think he doesn't see that?
Well, he sees it. When he told me that, I said, I'm sorry, can I get my digital recorder and record that? And he's like, no, I'll deny it.
Yeah, exactly. But the good thing is like, always, the best policy is always honesty, right? And the best policy is always transparency, but you have to deliver it with confidence. And I think sharing with him, hey, here's the reality of where we're at. And the reason why why I'm the best agent is because I don't tell people what they want to hear. I tell people what they need to hear. Just like I told you with the pricing. And obviously I'm your agent, so I have to do what you want me to do. But I tell people what they need to hear. And this is what you need to hear. We went out too high, like we both agree. We need to relaunch this listing and do this upgraded type strategy. Here's what I'm going to do for the relaunch. We have to keep it off the market for 30 days. We're going to plan the relaunch where we have some social media campaigns going. We're going to have a door knocking campaign. We're going to, whatever you can commit to, we're going to have a mailer go out to the, closest 250 homes, whatever it is. And then from there, you then relaunch because ultimately, if he's not going to use you and go with another agent because of the 30 days, he doesn't want to use you anyways, to Cody's point. And you need to find that out right away and ask him straight up.
And I would shoot the relaunch for like January 2nd. I would get it to like the new year. Hey, let's do a new year relaunch. And like, I wouldn't do it 30 days from like today. We're middle of December. You're not going to have the activity you probably want within those 2 weeks. So I definitely wouldn't do that. I would wait. Let's go. Hey, first a new year. We're going to relaunch it, a new listing. We're going to hit a bunch of eyes. This is my game plan for what we're going to do. And, make it really like a whole new like relist for you. And I think we're going to get a lot of eyeballs and marketing on it now that we're at the price that we can sell at.
I had one more question because there's a local in Tampa, and he's out in the country, but people, they want a second home or they want to get away from, the downtown or stuff like that. So because of the price range, it's a different client base. But I did find a TV station that was one of the local ones, ABC, that does this real estate thing on Sundays, and they'll come and they'll do a videotape. I have to pay for it. It's costly, but they'll come out there and do a nice video of it, me walking through the home, showing all the value. Do I do that now, or do I do that after we take it off the market for a month? Because December is our dead month. I don't mind forking out the money because that's what we do, but I want to make the best use of it.
I mean, when do you're saying they run this to all the people in Tampa? Sorry, it's echoing a little bit for me, but you're saying they run this to all the people in Tampa when they do it?
That's Central Florida area, which is the client base.
Yeah, I would do January. I would have that as part of my
I would, yeah. That's the relaunch, and tell them what you're going to do.
Because, that gets me excited. I hear that from you, and I'm like, oh, shoot, that sounds great. And so I get it. You're getting the seller re-excited about an opportunity that he has to sell the house. And this is how it's going to happen. We're going to take it off, and then you explain that. And that's such a big positive. Yeah.
Do you run Facebook ad campaigns, Phyllis, for your listings at all? Have you ever done that?
I do. And what's really super helpful is the fact that I can now tell him, he knew that I was doing this podcast about his particular property. And now I can tell him and give him the feedback from the professionals, my fellow colleagues, that guess what? You've got the same mindset that's been sitting in my mind. I just haven't had the conversation with him yet, but December's dead. So that's when people go on vacation and they just don't look at
he has to see and believe, which is normal, right? That you have his best interest in heart. Like, meaning like you want to sell this property as bad as he does, and you want to sell it for his highest price, just like he does, but you don't control the market, but you control the marketing. And, unfortunately you couldn't convince him, probably the failure was not being able to convince him out of the gate. Needed to have harder conversations there probably, but that's in the past. Who cares? Now let's move forward and go, let's relaunch. I think if you bring that TV opportunity to him that you're going to pay for, oh my gosh, fantastic. You also we can help you out with this and show you how to run these listing campaigns. Like
with
Facebook
seller reports.
Yeah, with seller reports. So you can show him, I'm going to go get you 50,000 views on this property. And it wouldn't be that expensive to do that. And then maybe you add in, obviously you're going to run a bunch of open houses. You're going to door knock the closest neighbors to get their feel if they have any people that want to move to the area. I mean, I think when you present forward a plan like that, who's going to hustle like that for him? Right. Who's going to fork out that? I don't think he's going to find another agent that's going to do that if you can portray that. And you have this natural degree of trust because he didn't trust you and he ended up in a rough spot. Right. So. Someone just snuck behind you. It was fantastic. It was amazing. Yeah.
Try to duck out of the way, but
my daughter, I saw her.
That's so great. Yeah, it's awesome. Phyllis, really appreciate you coming on the show. Hopefully that is helpful. I would 100% lay out what the marketing plan is. Go to ChatGPT, talk to OpenAI or Gemini, whatever your AI is of choice. Tell them what your plan's going to be. Have it crafted into a one-pager that you can sit down and show it to them. Here's what we're going to do to relaunch this thing. So you got to make it a big deal of what you're planning strategy-wise. And if you make it a big deal and you have the confidence, then that will influence him. But don't think he's going to just like it if you're sitting there kind of like a logical conversation. Because of this happening, we need to do this. That's not going to get him excited. Like, you need to present it in a way that goes, hey, look, here's what the marketing's telling us. Here's what the market's telling us. We need to do a relaunch. Here's what I'm planning to do. And you confidently share with them a 4-point approach or a 5-point strategy that you're going to do to relaunch this listing as an upgraded listing.
And the energy with that, like excited, like it's such an opportunity, and I'm so excited for it, for what we could do for your property. That energy is going to change. The confidence and the energy you have toward this relaunch will be huge.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Phyllis.
We'll make sure to follow up with some of those resources that we talked about so that you have everything at your disposal there. Thank you so much. Good luck. Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye. I think we're dealing with delays today.
Yeah, delays. It must be something with our internet.
Maybe.
Because we just did a podcast earlier that was had delays.
All right.
It's just so funny.
It's kind of like a news station where like the person is
they're by satellite
waiting. Right? Yeah, it's by satellite. It's like, what's going on? Anyways, but great question from Phyllis that it was very similar. I forget, shame on me, but I forget the other lady, but it was very similar to her question.
Yep.
Yeah, she was in Florida. You're right. It's maybe all these Florida sellers, they just think their property's worth more than it is because they boomed during COVID. You know what I mean? And
it's
now
more market down there.
Yeah, now it's leveling out.
Well, we talked about like running Facebook ads. So we just launched, for everybody who's listening, whether you're a client of Reminder Meter or not, we just launched a brand new kind of like, we're calling it Reminder Media Labs. Like these are some beta test kind of products, but we built with AI. You can go in and build a Facebook ad with absolutely no knowledge of how to run ads on Meta or any technical knowledge whatsoever. You don't need to connect to your own business page or even set up a business page. We're going to run the ads for you and then give you all of the leads. Each one of the ads that we run will come with its own property page as well. It gets automatically built for you. The copy gets written by AI. It connects directly to your MLS, brings up all of your listings. You can choose which one, and then we have different formats and templates and everything. But we have a special offer for Stay Paid listeners. So if you go to listinglaunch.app, so listinglaunch.app, go ahead, plug in your name, find your property in the MLS, and then when you get to the end, there'll be a promo code that you can enter. Just enter the promo code Stay Paid. And that'll get you 50% off. So you can go ahead and go.
Dang, we're giving 50% off?
Doing 50% off.
Jeez, man, you're just making executive decisions over here. I thought we were going to give 15% off, 50%.
For Stay Paid listeners.
For Stay Paid listeners. There you go. What I love about it is it's, a couple clicks of a button because it pulls in your MLS. You just select your listing. It pulls in all your info. It builds the ad based upon. There's a bunch of different options in there that are, we have designed and our marketing team has designed.
Yeah, I did a video. I made a challenge. Could I launch one in under a minute? And it was like 53 seconds, literally.
And then the core behind it is the seller report.
Yeah.
Like the idea behind this is we want to give you obviously ads to promote your listing, but we want to take what you've done, put it into a nice report that you can send your seller and say, hey, I've been advertising your listing. We've gotten 12,000 views, 400 clicks, and it's proof to your seller what you're doing for them. And that's real gold that you can use not only to your current seller, but also in your next listing presentation of this is what I do for my sellers. Here's the last campaign I ran for my last listing. This is what I'm going to do for you. And now you have tangible proof inside your listing presentation of the marketing campaigns that you do.
Yeah, I'm so excited for it. It is awesome. It's super easy. And for me, I'm all about ease. And as I know a lot of us realtors are, because I don't know how to run a Facebook ad or put that together, but to do it literally under a minute, I can have my admin. She picked it up like that. It's so nice. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, there's even a team management where if you do have an admin or you have a larger team, you can go in and manage all of your agent dashboard. One more time, that's listinglaunch.app, and then use promo code Stay Paid for 50% off. Sorry, Luke, I had to do it.
Yeah,
use it.
This is sincere. I didn't know he was going to give 50% off. But you know what? Who needs to make money? It can be a hobby or a charity.
All right, while we're waiting on our next caller, let's go ahead and do a write-in.
Sure.
Maybe along the lines, since we're talking about AI apps, Courtney writes in, how deep will AI get into real estate to make us more efficient?
Well, that's a deep question. Yeah. What is that? Courtney King from Montana?
Yeah, Courtney.
It is going to, my belief is it will automate every function probably within real estate besides maybe the showing of houses. And the talking to the actual client. Every other thing is going to be either enhanced or completely done by AI. I think, right now, all the industry experts would say, Courtney, that, AI is going to it's really AI plus human is the superpower, because it still isn't to a point where the AI is going to be able to work autonomously on its own without actual human interaction for some of these tasks. But I think it's going to be across the board. I think there was a study out there that said the average real estate agent does 120 or something different tasks, and AI could automate 97 of them, or something like
70%. Yeah.
It was pretty substantial what it could automate. And so that's where it's at right now. If you're not using it to write your listing descriptions, if you're not using it to build buyer profiles, if you're not using it to help you create marketing, if you're not using it to help you
go back and listen to our interview with Jason Flory.
Yes.
So
he did a great job.
He did an amazing job of literally going through some very tactical, practical.
Another one, Jason Pantana, we did one with him, and he had a lot of practical advice on AI for real estate agents as well. So those are 2 episodes you should listen to.
Yeah, and it's gonna AI will save you time to do what's most important, and that's get connected to your people. So that's what I'm so excited about with that, is the efficiency factor of what you can take off your plate to focus on what's most important to build your business, which is connecting with people, which AI cannot do, is what you can do, and that's how you take advantage.
Yep. Do you know, Cody, if there's any AI for contracts yet? Like, have they put it into the DocuSigns and dot loops yet? I haven't noticed it.
Yeah, but I mean, like you can create templates for RTC, everything filled out already. So then you're just like checking through anything you need to change. Like Caleb can write a contract within like 3 minutes because it's all kind of already done for you.
It's all done for him. Yeah.
One thing that we utilize AI for with contracts is like inspections, because you can put an inspection report, give you the highlights, even write out some of the repairs you want. And another one is HOA.
Okay.
Your HOA document into AI, and it can give you the highlights of like, hey, what does it include? Does it not include? What are the big things I need to know about it? And HOA docs can be like 90 documents. I remember one time I printed out one for a client because they wanted to read it. We sat down and went through it. AI can erase all that and be super efficient. So both of those have been a huge efficiency thing for us, is repairs and HOAs.
We're testing AI right now with thumbnails, right, for YouTube videos and stuff like that. So if you make content, Nano Banana with Google does a pretty stellar job at making thumbnails. You can literally go to it and, type in the type of picture and thumbnail you want. You're going to have to upload probably your headshot. Like if you want your headshot in the thumbnail, you upload your headshot and say, using my headshot, create a, clickbait hook around this topic and this type of thumbnail, and it will crank it out for you and give you different options. So that's another one that we're seeing being used.
Little tip there. I don't know if we're allowed to say this, but if you go to if you go into your browser, so Nano Banana costs like all of these, but if you go into your browser into incognito mode and you go to LM Arena, so the letters LM Arena, you can actually choose from all of these different AIs, and it'll give you like a free generation. And then if you close out and go back in incognito mode, you can just do that, in perpetuity.
That's incredible.
So I don't know if it'll still work by the time this podcast comes out.
Yeah,
but if
we're going to get shadow banned
ready,
or blacklisted
if
by
you're
Google.
not ready to, well, I learned it from a YouTube video and he didn't get shadow banned.
So there we go.
I think we'll be okay. Yeah. All right. Get your questions answered here live on Stay Paid. You can go to remindermedia.com/ask. And we will get you scheduled for the show. Our next caller, is it Elisa or Alyssa?
Elisa.
From Georgia. Elisa, welcome, Elisa. Thanks for joining us.
Our hometown, Savannah. Let's go.
Dude, I didn't know you were from Savannah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know Cody was from Savannah, so shame on me. I always thought you were from Virginia, man.
No,
so that's crazy.
Savannah, so howdy.
Yep. Yeah. So Elisa, what's your question? What can we help you with?
Actually, well, I was gonna ask Cody, where is he now?
I'm in Lynchburg, Virginia, Central Virginia. So I've been here for almost 14 years.
Oh Lord, I was in bad news. I'm retired military. I was in. I call it. What do you call it? Newport News. I call it
Hampton.
Bad News.
Newport News.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Very great.
Yeah. I like how you called it bad news. I was in bad news, Virginia.
Savannah's way better.
No, that's awesome.
So, my question was, if you're calling people, I know you all answered this 1,000 times. Like you're calling people and you are a member of, like, say, even the community, like, you have a country club membership or something. You see them all the time, so you're very familiar with them. How do you and they know they're going to see you, around. How do you say, well, how did you like my magazine? You don't want to sound too salesy. You don't want to,
Yeah.
if you're someplace, you don't want to be pushy because you have events often, and you don't want to be that guy or that gal, who's always here she comes, to talk about real estate. But people always ask because they know. So, well, and then I just don't want to. And if they haven't gotten it, that's the other thing. If they haven't gotten it, and you don't want to seem like you're not on your game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got
No, I love all that.
Great question.
That is.
Your question in summary is like, I don't want to bug my people, but I need to get in contact with them. How do I do that without bugging them?
And and then elaborating on the magazine. How did you like it? But you haven't gotten it, then what do? Well, let me go to my car. I have one in my truck.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there you go. There's an answer.
And I think the answer to that too is awesome. That's why I'm calling, is to make sure you're getting the magazine and making sure you get one, because that's how important you are, that you get one of the magazines and you have all the info. So that's how I would handle. I've had people do that too, and I'm like, oh, that's my fault. I probably didn't put your address in right. Let me make sure that gets sent to you.
Yeah. And can I ask another question too, please?
Oh, please. Yeah.
Okay. So like the magazine, the digital magazine, right? For me, it's a little cumbersome. And I don't want it to be cumbersome because the community that I was just speaking of, they see me all the time, and I don't want, and was again keeping in good graces and everything. I don't want to be cumbersome, and they not want to even look at it, because you have to go to one section and then go to another section. Can we do like a flip book?
Yeah, great question. So I think I'm understanding. It's almost two veins of your question. One is like, I don't want to come across the wrong way and be in front of the people too many times where people are like, oh, there she is again, trying to hit me up. And then now they tune out your marketing. And then the other is, how do I make the content even a little simpler for people to see or go through, right, from a content perspective?
And again, won't tune me out. And that's the thing. That's my concern with the digital magazine. They won't tune out the digital magazine.
And have you had any feedback from your clients saying that to you?
That's my thing. When I go through it, and I'm like, if it's mine and I'm feeling like it's cumbersome to go through, I said it's going to be really cumbersome for them. And the community that I'm also very much a part of is like, a lot of people are retirees. And I get a lot of people who love, I'm going to say this, they love the events calendar that I send to them. I've had people, tell me, thank you so much. I'm
love that.
Missing. She said, I miss things. I found out about things after the fact. And she actually sent me an email telling me thank you. So that was like really.
That's fantastic. That's the local events email newsletter.
They love that. Oh
that's awesome.
And that's how I decided who to send the magazines to, because I said, okay, I'm sending the magazines because I have a lot of people in the database, right? And so I said, I'm sending it to the people who I see are looking through the current event.
Yep.
I can go the first question if you want a second question, Luke.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first one, I was going to say, what we do in order to call people is we have personal events. I don't know if you do events for your clients, and we use that to call them, to invite them to. So we have 4 quarterly events. It gives a lot of what you're asking is like, how do I have like a reason to call them where they don't feel like, hey, it's just my realtor bugging me again? Instead, it's like inviting them to something of like, hey, we have our pie event coming up. I would love to give you a free pie. It's on March 14th. Can I bring you one, or do you want to stop by and get a pie? And then they say yes, or they go, oh, I can't make it, blah, blah, blah. And I immediately go, awesome. Well, you're going to hear from me another 2 months, of course. We've got another summer bash coming up. I'll reach out to you and tell you more then. And as always, if there's any way I can help, I love to be assistance, or do you know anyone looking to buy or sell that I could help out and add value to? So every call just has like a reason for it. So then it doesn't bug or seem buggy, because I'm just telling them about something coming up, and it just opens a conversation and gives you opportunity to get right in front of them.
So you put your own events in the current events thing too?
Not in the current events. We set our own marketing for our events coming up. So it's separate from the local events, which is awesome as well. But this is like more of a thing that we do.
It's like a client event.
Right.
They do a client event essentially once a quarter.
And that gives them a reason for the call.
Yeah. I just had my first client event, or first event, but this past weekend. One more thing is the last thing. One thing I would like for us to be able to do is like have more flexibility in the color or the fonts of the current events, because right now it's red, and I would like to maybe make it blue, or be able to have, let's say if I don't like, even if I don't like blue, just something that may be more to my colors or something like that, instead of only being able to present the invitation or the verbiage, I say, in red with the current events thing.
Okay, interesting. You should be able to do that. So we can actually get on the line with you and show you how, and do that for you. You should be able to change the color to match your brand. So that should be able to be done. We'll pull up your thing, your account, to help you do that. One thing that I would share with you, because I love what you're doing, and I think it's spot on. This will help everybody. It's the struggle is, I don't want to come across as salesy, and I don't want to hit my people too many times. And so how do I do it strategically? And I always want to encourage people by telling them it's almost impossible to hit your clients too many times. It's almost impossible. It's so easy to hit them too little. And the example I give to people is kind of like your best relationships, your spouse, right? Significant other, your best friend. How often are you in communication with them? I think of my wife, Megan. I'm in communication with Megan all the time, right? Thousands of touch points, text messages, phone calls. But the difference is, right, it's very relational. And so strategically, if you think about your clients, think about, even your top 150 that you have, right? Because you could have 150 people in your database and do 24 deals a year, pretty easy. And that top 150, you should ask yourself, am I comfortable just calling to say hello? This was a tip I learned from a friend of mine named Julie. She runs UBS for like the East Coast. And she said one of the most powerful things that helped her in her career get to such a high level in such a huge company is, she said she applied this methodology of essentially calling to say hello. And she said, you'd be shocked that when you call someone just to say hello and there's no other reason, people are just taken back, because everybody who calls them wants something. There's a reason for the call. But when you call just to say hello, it's literally, I'm just calling to check in. So you can literally just go, hey, Cody, it's Luke. Hey, I just want to call and check in and say hello. We haven't caught up in a while. I just wanted to see how you were doing. And then that's it. And then all of a sudden you learn, and I give people a methodology of like Ford. I don't know if you've ever heard me share this before or not, but it's like family,
Oh, yes.
occupation,
Oh, yeah.
recreation, dreams. So the idea is, when you call to say hello, it's like, okay, well, where do I go, Luke? When I call to say hello, I would simply go, hey, Cody, maybe we haven't caught up in a while. How's the family? Hey, Cody, we haven't caught up in a while. How's retirement? Right? Because you said you're dealing with a lot of retirees, so maybe they don't have an occupation yet. But how's retirement doing? Or how's your job? Oh, hey, if you knew something about their hobbies. Now, if you have a CRM, what your goal is when you call Cody, your client, your goal is to take notes in your CRM around the family, around the occupation, around the hobbies, and around the dreams. Dreams are kind of hard to get to. So I always say to people that dreams can be more practically around buying, selling, investing in real estate, the dream of home ownership, the dream of investing, the dream of, that type of thing. But I always tell people practically, if I call Cody, hey, Cody, man, how's life? We haven't caught up in a while. You popped into my mind today. I just wanted to reach out and see how you're doing. Just want to call and say hello. Cody's going to be like, okay, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, man, I can't believe it's been 3 years, since I helped you buy 1100 First Avenue. How's the family? And then I write that down. And then maybe as I close the call, I'm going, oh, by the way, Cody, I'm sending you my magazine. It's just something special I try to do for all my best relationships. I hope you're enjoying it. I try to put like recipes and stuff in there that I think people would love. If you ever try one of the recipes, let me know what you think about them. I've tried them before. They're pretty amazing. But if you ever try them, let me know. I hope you're enjoying it. And just want to tell you, I appreciate you and appreciate you being in my life. And I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And boom, I'm off. Right. And now that is a non-pressure call. Calling to say hello. And then strategically, we can set you up with your marketing from your magazine perspective to give you a reason to ask for referrals or reason to ask for the business. So then you can call and say, hey, Cody, can't believe it's been another 2 months. Wanted to check in. You popped into my mind today. I just got my latest magazine. It reminded me I'm sending it to you. One thing I wanted to point out, I'm having a lot of my friends reach out to me right now because they want to know equity in their home. They want to know about buying and selling and investing in real estate. So I figured I'd take it upon myself to reach out to all my great, friendships and just offer, if you ever wanted to, like, I know investing in real estate is so big right now. If you ever wanted to learn about that, I'm more than happy to help you in that area. Or I'm reaching out because a lot of my, I was talking to a friend the other day and they needed help with a contractor and they didn't realize that I could help connect them to the local contractors in the area and anything around the home. I want to be your central source for anything around the home. So I just wanted to take it upon myself to be proactive and reach out to you and offer to you that if you never ever needed a plumber, electrician, a contractor, hit me up. Do you get what I'm doing? It's essentially my first call is to say hello. My second call is geared around an item of value that I want to offer. So what you want is to determine what are my items of value. A home equity report could be your item of value. A client event invitation could be your item of value. Offering access to your contractors, electricians, stuff like that could be an item of value. So you just need a couple different items of value that you can strategically talk about. And so with the magazine going every 2 months, that's just your trigger to yourself of going, hey, let me call Cody. I was thinking about you today. And then put on the front cover of your magazine a home equity report for this next one, a free home equity report. Get your free home equity report, scan here. So we can help you do that on the front cover right of your magazine. When you call, yeah, perfect. So when you call Cody, reference that and reference it in a way, hey, I just wanted to point it out just in case you ever wanted to know what your home's worth. You can scan that QR code whenever. But, I didn't know a lot of my people right now are asking me, they're preparing for 2026. Did you have any plans for real estate, either buying or selling, investing in 2026? And now the conversation is about that person's investment, that person's real estate. But I simply called to say hello. And I was just pointing it out as kind of a nonchalant, hey, just wanted to point that out. Hey, I'm actually curious, Cody. Did you have any, I'm just curious. So I'm pointing to the item of value. Hey, I'm actually curious. Did you have any, or did you know anybody, and so that's the way I would strategically do it. But these are fantastic questions.
Yeah.
And so I think it will help people. And they don't even need the magazine to do this, meaning like you could do it with your other marketing, but you got to give yourself the same principle. The reason is called to say hello and the item of value that you're offering that you can turn the conversation to real estate about.
And I like the fact that you do it like, let's say you do it on the 1st of, whatever the day is, the 13th, right? And then you do it on the 13th, and then a month later you go back in because you've softened them up, or a couple months later you've already softened them up, and they'll just be in a reoccurring rotation of some.
And don't fear, like we'll close with this, just don't fear you're over communicating. You're not. You just need to make sure as much as you're hitting them with marketing, like emails and magazines and different things like that, you are hitting them with a personal relationship just as much. And that's a conversation. So it's like Cody doesn't mind hearing from me when he knows Luke personally. But if Luke is just a random garage door salesman or, whatever salesman, and I just hit him all the time with information, he cares because there's no connection. So what you want to try to do is, hey, these 150, how do I get connection with them? That's the phone call. That's the client event and seeing them at the client event or at church or whatever. Because I'm sure like the person that I know at church, if they got my emails and got my stuff from that, they're not going to be upset by that because they know Luke and they want to support Luke. But if they don't know me and I haven't invested in the relationship, that's where it becomes more spamish because they don't know me. But these are great questions. I can't wait to connect with you after the fact too, because I want to make sure your magazine and all the local events and stuff like that are set up the right way, and we can help you make sure you're really taking advantage of it.
Thanks, Elisa.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
luck.
Awesome.
All right, we'll see you. All right, you can get your questions answered live here on Stay Paid. Go to remindermedia.com/ask, and we will set up a time to have you here on the show. Our next caller is Hyatt. Hyatt in California. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I honestly didn't expect a response once I submitted my questions.
Wait a minute.
We're actually real people. No, we're excited to have you on. How can we help your business? What's kind of the challenge you face?
So we are a mental health therapy office, and we, for a while, were having a slow pipeline of customers or clients coming in because our main source of referral is through insurance provider networks, and that's kind of out of our hands. And so I tried some digital marketing, but we don't have a social media manager or anything like that. It's just whenever I find time. And so the digital marketing that we're doing doesn't seem to have an impact. Even though I look up like the keywords, I dabble in SEO.
Okay.
I boost some posts here and there, and the reach doesn't really broaden. It's like the same 5 people liking our posts every time. So I was thinking of going back to physical marketing, like
Okay.
handing out flyers to local businesses and putting more of an emphasis on that.
Okay.
And I've been seeing some people having the same thoughts online and reverting back to physical, and they've been having success. So I was wondering what you guys thought about it.
Well, we love physical mail because that's a lot of our business. But I guess some clarifying questions. What's your revenue? And like, how big is the company so we can understand kind of what your spend should be in marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 10 therapists on staff, 3
Okay.
supervisors, myself, and an outreach coordinator. And I know
Okay.
it sounds like she would do social media. She just coordinates with the incoming patients.
Gotcha. Okay.
And revenue is last year was a little over 400,000.
Okay.
And this year we've already surpassed that.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank
That's awesome.
you.
Yeah.
So it is on track to be closer to 500 or 600,000.
Okay.
I
All right.
mean, it's all flexible, especially because the holidays coming up and stuff.
And what is your marketing budget that you try to set, or do you have one? I know with small
Right now
businesses
we
sometimes.
don't
Okay.
have one. It's just like if something comes up, then we'll see if we can justify the spend.
Yeah, you'll try to justify the spend. Okay. Have you ever done paid advertisements? Because you said boosting, but boosting is different than really running paid ads to Meta's platform.
Yeah, no, we've just boosted posts. We haven't done a paid ad yet.
Okay. And then give us an idea of what your ideal target audience is, because that's always where you want to try to start with marketing to try to figure out what platform you should be on.
So our ideal marketing base is anybody who wants therapy, and not anyone who needs it, because everybody needs it,
Okay.
but we want people who want to be there. And I know that's very broad. And the reason is for that, because we have 10 clinicians, we have such a variety of services that we're able to provide. So we do see anywhere from kids to, I think our oldest is in his 80s.
What's your most popular, though, as you look at your 10 clinicians, you look at your $400,000 of revenue, where's the majority coming from?
So the majority is coming from couples, a lot of couples therapy, and a lot of late adolescent, early adulthood. So like 16 to 30.
Perfect. Okay.
And so those are the 2 that we get the most outreach for currently.
Okay. Fantastic. Because there's this rule always in business, which is like you want to lead with revenue, which is kind of, it's basically what's working and how do I double down on that? Because oftentimes, we don't have to go reinvent the wheel. We can just run the play that's actually working and do more of it. And then there's also another principle, which is there's riches and niches. And it's very hard for people to market everything, because when you're everything to everybody, you're basically no one. So you got to kind of hone in. And we see this. I'll give you an example with Reminder Media. So Reminder Media, we're a marketing business and we do marketing, right? We do digital marketing, we do paid advertising, we do postcards, we do print magazines. So our company that's kind of behind this podcast, we have all these things, but how we go to market with most of our advertising budget is all around our custom magazine to keep in touch with your database to drive referrals, because we have found that when we try to market everything, we end up not reaching people. It's a confusing message. We get them into one thing and then we upsell them in essence, or get referrals and to the other things. So if I'm you, I would look into going, okay, if couples therapy and the adolescents are really the real drivers, I would go, okay, well, how do we advertise to more couples? And where are the couples? And how could we reach them? Do you have any groups, or I'm not super familiar with the therapy space, but are there things that, like platforms that you can get on to advertise where people, message boards, things like that in that space?
We're on a few of them. The biggest one that's like the go-to for this space is Psychology Today, and we do get a
Okay.
lot of referrals through there.
Love it.
We have a profile on there as well.
Okay. And are you connected to all the local pastors and churches and stuff like that in the area? Because that's
something
I just
thought of immediately.
Yep, is because my dad is a pastor, and I know obviously, pastors do, counseling, but they're not doing therapy necessarily. I'm sure some do, but they're not doing that.
Mostly like the pre-marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where it's like having a trusted, recommended partner, provider, and making, and that would fit into your, essentially your network of who you're trying to reach out to, and your print strategy of bringing them something, right, to let them know about your services, stuff like that. So that's just one way. But ultimately, if you think about your business, is $400,000 business, can you get to where you're spending $40,000 a year on your marketing? That's where you would want to be. Obviously, you probably can't get there now, but give you an idea. And then you go, this is what you have to think of. What is my message, right? Who is my audience? What is my message? And, you can give your thoughts, Josh, on messaging. I'm just lazy now, so I'm using AI, but I would go to AI and you should talk into AI what you do for couples.
Everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And you should basically go, what is unique about you? What is the value proposition? What is the bold claim? What is the thing that would, and a lot of times it revolves around pain. Right. So it's like, what's the pain you're solving? Always think in terms of pain and result. It's like, what's the pain couples
Give it
are going
examples
through?
of clients that you've had and people that you've helped. Yep.
Yep. And then have it spit out 20 different ways to say that in one sentence. And then if you have the money to test, because marketing is all about testing, well, then take that messaging and take 5 of them that you like the most and go to Facebook and run 5 different ads to your target audience community, right? So, if you've never used Facebook ads platform, right, it will give you some ability to search by demographic information and things like that, but it has likes and interest where you can go in and you can start typing in, I want to get people who are interested in therapy. I want to get people, I don't know if struggling, if it would know the pain points of people. It probably knows the people who are about to get divorced and stuff like that. But you can start playing around. But ask OpenAI's ChatGPT or Gemini, right, with Google. Ask it, hey, if you were going to advertise for this on Facebook, what are the likes and interests that you would put into the audience? So you can circle 15 miles, 25 miles, whatever you want to do around your area, target an audience of this age group with these likes and interests, and serve them these different ads. Then watch those 5 different ads and see which one gets the best engagement. And then from there, you start really hone and spend your money on that ad, kind of compress in and spend your money on that ad. So this is a lot, right? I know it's probably a little overwhelming, but where you should start is go hone into your one really marketable piece, if not 2, the adolescence and the couples therapy. If you're going to go print, well, how do you hone into a print piece that talks about that you reach the community about that? When you go and you post on Facebook, are you guys doing content marketing on your Facebook page and on Instagram and stuff?
Yeah, I post sporadically when I have a moment. So I know that is definitely part of it.
So yeah, you want to build out a content strategy, which is just a fancy way to say you should be posting every day if you can. and in doing filming YouTube videos, the easiest way to do it is your FAQs, your frequently asked questions. Take your frequently asked questions that couples have and use AI for this, right? And write your opinion on those things. If you struggle with this, here's what you should think of. If you struggle with this, here's what you should think of. And film a YouTube video on that, right? And that's your content. That's not going to do anything for you in the short term, but it's a long-term branding play. And then in the short term, you can go and do kind of 3 different things. One is ask your current client base for any referrals. Make sure they know that you live by referrals. Go to partners, pastors, Psychology Today, things like that to try to build partnerships. And then 3rd, go to the anonymous public and share your message. And how do you do that? Paid advertising through Meta, Google pay-per-click. Google's going to be more expensive, more qualified. Meta's going to reach more people, less qualified, right? But it's more brand building. And then, in your content strategy, I should have mentioned this with social, you should have an email drip going to your whole database. Because I'm sure you have a ton of clients now with 10 clinicians.
Yeah.
So you should have a monthly email, if not biweekly, going to that database of people.
So right now, don't laugh. We are doing manual emails to clients.
Cody, stop laughing,
I know.
Cody.
I try to hide my smile. I don't have a beard anymore, so it's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
So I was gonna ask if you guys had a suggestion for a email like service. 'Cause
Well,
obviously-
selfishly, like biased, I would tell you use us for your. We have a magazine called Start Healthy, which fits in, perfectly that you can drip on people. But Mailchimp is awesome. Constant Contact is awesome. Those are two massive platforms. Weber's another. They're local to us here, not as big as Constant Contact and stuff like that, but they're another great one. Mailchimp, even for someone like you, they'll probably 1,000 emails for free or something like that.
Yeah.
That you can
I
send.
don't remember the exact number, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you could, and they have templates and all that stuff that you could use and probably spin it up pretty quickly. That you can drip. So like with you, and this goes for everybody listening to this, right? Is the hardest part about business is you need deals today, clients today, right? But you have to build a brand. And you get caught in this in between that it's just like, what do I do? Because you need the patience and the new business, but you also go, I know I have to do this branding stuff. And the reality that we found is that it really is all should be focused on brand in terms of just your thesis. I'm going to drip email. I'm going to put on social. I'm going to run ads to try to generate business today, but I'm going to even consider that branding. And then over time, if you can commit to it long enough, 12 months, you'll see it. You'll see the fruits of it. But most people stop too soon. They stop a month in, 2 months in, 3 months in even.
I do get impatient about it. But no, that's a good point about just like keeping the branding consistent. And as I keep putting out more stuff, putting out more content, doing paid ads, like it will come to fruition eventually.
Yep. Well, pull up. Can you pull up her Facebook, Josh? So we pulled up your website.
Okay. Yeah.
But let's pull
You
up.
have a great hook, by the way, in your name. Like
Okay.
elevate your relationships. Testing that on social media with ads. Like, do not spend any more money on boosting the post. Create some ads, and some branding with that. Get that out there for reach.
Yeah,
right?
boosting's
so for
no good.
impressions, which is just going to get you in front of the right people. And then once you start to figure out which one gets the most engagement, like Luke's talking about, then you can move into actual, lead generation for your business. I did pull up your Facebook, but I have to log in. I don't know my Facebook.
I will say Facebook is kind of sketchy.
Okay. Oh, maybe I can do that. Okay.
I initially just started the Instagram, but our CEO only uses Facebook. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just link it so you can see our posts too.
Yeah. Do you have a personal profile that you use?
Facebook?
Facebook.
Yeah, I have a personal profile, but we also have a business one.
Do you post on your personal profile about your therapy stuff and everything like that?
Not really, no.
You really should. Business pages get no engagement. And I mean, I shouldn't say that blanket, but 98% of them get no engagement, and it's not your fault. Facebook doesn't favor them. You create the business page because they want you to pay to play. They want you to run an ad. So you should have a personal profile, and you should encourage your clinicians or, therapists to do the same, where they are posting. Not all the time. It's like they're personal but that's how you really build trust. Why would someone come to you for couples therapy? It's because they trust you, because they know that this is your passion and this is your life work. And they trust you based upon the character of who you are. And trust is often built upon commonality, right? We have shared values. And so you're showcasing to people those values when you're showcasing your life through your personal profile. And it's just, you don't have to do it, right? Your business is your business. You can decide. But if you want a strategy of like trying to help you stand out to your audience for your personal Facebook profile, for your Instagram, you should be sharing with people things you're learning about couples therapy, things you're learning to help you elevate relationships. And, even think about doing a seminar for couples or a Zoom that they can come in to learn the top 3 ways to help you communicate with your spouse, right? Or the top, I mean, I don't know this industry, but I think there's some top of funnel things you can do. Like there's so many top of funnel, like here's
relationship elevation.
Yeah. Here's
challenges.
an ebook, the top 3 things, of, how to communicate, or like
I get them all the time where it's like the 5 things couples should do every month together. Something like, okay, here's the 5 things. Like if you just lean into that, how do you elevate your relationship? And then naturally that just draws people in and they'll engage with that and you'll be able to start.
And then hit on the main points, right? It's like for you, man, you have such a gold mine of marketing because you could do sex, you could do money, you could do politics, you could like all the real things that bring in eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can point, because what is the problem in relationships? It's usually around these type of things. And so like you have so many, my brain's going wild of like, oh man, you could really get out there with some advertising that pulls people in, but you remember, broad does not sell. Broad does not sell. Niche sales. So couples therapy does not sell. Therapy around like money and your marriage, that's way better, right? It's way more niche, right? Sex in your marriage, way more niche, right? It's like those type of things. It's like you got to get niche for the people to bring in because you're trying to hit them on that pain point. And that's why you want to go to OpenAI or whatever and say, hey, here's my business. Here's what I serve. Here's what we do. Give me 20 different ideas for how to speak to the audience about the problems they face. So hopefully this is helpful for you, Hyatt.
It is. I think I just need to get comfortable with like the idea of like not just selling like myself, but selling the business. Because I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. It's like, I can do the work, but it's selling the work. That's
exactly.
You have to get comfortable with.
Remember that all you're trying to do in marketing is you're trying to share with people that if you have this pain or you have this desired result that you want, you're coaching people how to get there. So you're in your marketing, right? Your content marketing, everything you're doing, you're speaking to a pain point that people face. You're speaking to a desired outcome that people want. So for like us, right, we want to help people get more referrals in their business. We know that's an outcome, but they struggle with what to send. They struggle with how often they should send it. Yeah. They struggle with how do you actually, after you send it, turn it into an engagement to get the referral. And it's like, so you just want to speak into the pain in your market. And then it's not about solicitation. You're not a QVC show. You're not a commercial. You're just getting out there and going, you're educating. Hey, if you have this pain point, here's what I found. If you want this desired result, here's what I found. And you have all that in you, and that's marketing. You just promote the heck out of that and storytell out of that. So to give you a little bit more comfort of like, you're not going to do like an ad necessarily. You're just going to get out there and share your knowledge.
No. So thank you guys for your time and insight. It is very helpful.
Awesome.
Thank you, Hyatt. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Awesome.
That was great.
Get your questions answered at Reminder.
Dude, we should call her and try to market her business and then go help a therapist around the country.
Dude, I'm sitting there thinking, I would love to get a hand.
I just like, as my brain started going, I went, oh my gosh, wait, you have all the topics. You have all the topics that will get eyeballs. Like people will zone in.
Great lead.
Yeah. I was like, oh, my brain's going wild here. It's like referrals isn't sexy, baby. I mean, talk about relationships. People are going to be all over that. It's crazy.
And I think that's the first time sex was brought up on Stay Paid.
Yeah.
So
let's hope it's the last, you know.
All right. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Cody. Check out listinglaunch.app. So if you are a real estate agent and you have active listings or recently sold that you want to get out there in front of your community, literally within minutes, you can have an ad going out or a promotion, a boost, a post going out to thousands of people in your community. You actually pick the number of impressions. You can go as low as 1,000. You can go as high as, I don't know, 20, 50,000.
Way higher than that. It's just money.
Listinglaunch.app. Use promo code Stay Paid to get that special discount. For this episode of Stay Paid, I am Josh Dyke.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, as you're listening to this, it does you no good to just hear and not do. So whatever struck you and struck a chord with you that you know you need to be doing it, you need to take action on that, because the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business is top producers take action. Take action on that today.